Don't be just a bystander. If someone is in trouble and you can help them, you should offer your help. Don't assume that other people are going to step in and do something. While you're taking that chance, something terrible could be happening to someone and you could have done something. So instead of just standing there, how about stepping forward? Hi Internet, how you doing?
Hey everyone, Ramblin' Teatime, Chris and Kim here. I'm doing well. How are you guys today?
I'm also doing well, because well means in between of anything.
In between a rock and a hard space, yes.
There's a well in between a rock and a hard space?
Yeah, probably, I don't know.
That's a really bad situation. Imagine... No, I mean an actual well.
I know you're
I'm
actually
saying
talking about a well.
nowhere in that situation is a good place to be.
Why?
Unless you can get on top of the rock.
But I mean, what if the rock is just like a regular rock on the ground? Why
You
are we
mean
talking
a
about
small
this?
rock?
Yes.
How? That's what I said. What's the size of the rock?
Oh my god. Kim, you latch on to the weirdest things. Like, seriously. I don't even know where you're going with this.
Oh, I'm not trying to go anywhere.
You just as a thought experiment?
Is that so bad?
No. I'm just confused. I mean, because wells are normally dug into the ground. What is the hard place? A rock could be anything. As long as it's not like
The hard place could be just a wall.
That's what I mean.
A wall is hard.
The ground could be the hard place.
Yeah, but you're in between a rock and a hard place. So the rock is on top. Then in that situation, if the ground is a hard place, we aren't in any well.
You realize this came up because you said you were doing well, and then you've turned that into an actual well.
I did. Is that so bad?
Your mind works in miraculous ways. It's an enigma wrapped in a question, you know? Within a riddle.
Internet, aren't I amazing?
No, you're not.
All right. So tonight we have a specific topic that we wanted to talk about. It actually stemmed from us watching Osama Ranking.
Right. Yes,
and we have done a review to that. It comes out next week. It's the episode after this one. So you guys should look out for that. The topic is about teachers.
Yes.
So we were witnessing Despa in Osama Ranking. Despa is Bodji's teacher.
Yes.
Domas is also his teacher, but we were just contrasting the different kinds of styles. And that got us to thinking about our own experiences with our teachers and whatnot. The first thing that came to my mind was my third form math teacher.
Oh my god, my third form math teacher too. Yes.
We won't call their names, but if anyone knows, they know. And the thing that I would always remember she said to the class is at one point the whole class, well, not the whole class was failing, but we weren't doing well. We had very bad grades. And we were the 3 science third form. We were supposed to be, the
smart kids. Or
exactly.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean.
I believe there were only a handful of kids passing, and so is the train. There were only a handful of kids with passing grades.
Yeah.
And the rest of the class, maybe the other 20 of us were failing, or we weren't doing so well. And I was one of the not doing so well ones. And it was an afternoon, and she was going through the lesson. Then she asks the class, do you guys understand? And really, truly, the people who, that handful who were passing, they understood. But the rest of us didn't. And we said as much. And she says, well, if you guys don't understand, I don't know how to better explain it to you. And that really was, I don't know what to say because her whole job
It's to teach
is to
you.
take information that we wouldn't otherwise understand and break it down in a way that is understandable for us, for her students, right? That's her whole job. So I was just shocked and taken aback. And even after that, I did really badly in math. It's only when I met my math teacher, probably 2 or 3 years after that, in whatever grade I was in, that I started to think, I'm actually not that bad at math.
Yeah. Yeah. It some of those things, certain subjects require a certain teacher.
For real.
I know that as a teacher, sometimes you have a class that just, you have rowdy students or rude students that just refuses to not learn. But I had a third form math teacher. He got swapped out later and he was actually fired from the school because they found that the classes that he were teaching were doing poorly. Right? And I remember he came in and he was just so kind of lazy, very lazy, like extremely lazy. And like, I don't know, I felt like if he was like a new teacher, so I wanted to like give him like you know, give him a chance, you know, because he's a new teacher. He's just probably his first teaching job, but he was not good at his job. He would write something on the board. Here's what you guys gotta do. Read so and so, and that's it, right? Not explaining how the formulas work, not explaining how to do them well. He's just pretty much like here's the thing on the book, and he hopes that the book explains it to you, and then he'll give you homework. Never really like going in depth how to do the stuff and things like that. And I remember my entire class hating that teacher. And I mean, like I said, he got fired because it turns out that he was a very, very like lazy when it came to his teaching. So the school got rid of him, and I remember we got like a substitute for like a bit, and I think he was better. He wasn't the best, but he was better than the complete non-existence of an actual teacher, like of that guy. I just remember that entire year just being like, every time I would have math, I'd just be like, ugh. He was not good. He was a terrible teacher.
Okay, but was he terrible because he lacked experience?
I want to say yes, but at the same time, I've had teachers who were new teachers, and this is also another story. He's a history teacher, and the reason why he became a teacher is because one of the teachers at our school was a good teacher to him, and he wanted to become a teacher, and he was new to the school around the same time as that guy. And when I left the school, he was still there, right? Because he was actually, you know what, a good teacher. You know? So yes, like, even though you might be new, you might not be accustomed to it, but at least try to, you know, do your job, teach, you know? At first it's like, okay, maybe this guy's just a new teacher or whatever, but for the 2 or 3 months that we had him, whatever, it's just like, nah, this guy sucks.
Well, the math teacher that I was speaking of, I know that she was a seasoned teacher. She had some years under her belt, but there was clearly during that period in her life, it seemed that she was under a lot of stress. I don't know what kind of stress, like work or personal or whatever, but when because she taught me, in the next year, she taught me information technology, IT. Okay. So, and it was fine.
Maybe she's just better with one subject matter.
I thought that too, but I never had any other experience besides those 2 subjects with her. So it's possible as well. Yeah. But she felt, I don't know. Anyway.
Well, with this contrast, starting with some bad teachers, what about some good teachers you've had?
And that's the end.
Really?
Just joking. No. No, I think we've had great teachers. There was this social studies teacher. She was my homeroom teacher in first form as well. She was so nice. She was just like the kindest lady. She was not seasoned, but she wasn't new either. Yeah. She was whatever you would call in between. And she was so nice. I don't know, just her energy and the way how she would explain, the different stuff when we're talking about geography or learning about the history and stuff like. It was just so easy to understand. I loved her teaching method. It was gentle, I want to say, and her disciplinary style was also gentle, maybe a little bit too much, but I don't think the kids in my class were rowdy, so it didn't go south. I want to say we kind of melded well with how she was teaching. So I always like her. And then we found out later into our year that she had like a twin sister, and her sister came in, and it was just like, everybody was like freaking out and talking about them, and we were like asking them all kind of questions and stuff like that. She was just cool.
Oh, okay.
She was a nice lady.
Oh, okay.
A good teacher and a nice lady. If I heard something like if she killed 20 people, I'd be like, I would end up one of those people on the TV like, oh my gosh, I never thought that she would do such a thing. She was a nice lady. Exactly. You ever heard that? You know those ones, right?
Yeah.
It was like that. I would be definitely shocked if I heard that she ever done something like crude. I mean, we all have our moments, but something really cruel, because she was just like so nice. And you?
One of my favorite teachers was my biology teacher for like the last 3 years of secondary school. He really got me to like biology, and he was the coolest. Like this guy, Kimberly, pretty much made every like class like fun and enjoyable. And he was just like an overall really like approachable teacher to like just talk about anything. Like even like outside of like school or subjects or anything like that, you could just like go and talk to him, and he would like assist you or whatnot. He got me into Magic the Gathering, actually, because what he used to do,
the card game.
Yeah, the card game. He used to host like things on the weekend at the school, and that got me into Magic and playing Magic and stuff like that. Like just overall, he was just great. And like years later, I found out that he went on to become a principal of a school. I was like, yeah, because he was like, for the times I had to do biology, it was probably like one of my favorite times of the day throughout the week, because I know that my favorite teacher is going to do something in a subject that I like, and he's just going to be, it's just a good time overall. Like, I never failed that class, and even if I was doing bad, it's like I got Mr. So-and-so to help me out. It's like he was great. Like, I would never think of like cool teachers or just somebody that I like
respect.
Like really respect. I think back to him as like, yeah, because of him and a few other teachers that I had, I've thought about becoming a teacher like not too long ago. When I left school and whatnot, I was like, maybe I'll go into teaching, because I was even asked by, this is a different teacher now, my English teacher, who was also my homeroom teacher, and she asked me a couple of times like, are you interested in like teaching and stuff like that, because she says the way how I like explained and understood stuff, she was like, you would do a good job in this profession. And it got me thinking about that, and for a while I was thinking about it, because I had good teachers, and I thought maybe I could probably also go on and do something like this and be a good teacher, because I also had that experience of having just genuinely fun and good teachers who weren't like overly like cool, but still had discipline and that were like strong. They weren't like back down if they have to do with like rude students or rowdy students and whatnot. But yeah, he was just such a good dude. I really liked him a lot. Made school so much more fun. I want to bring up this one other teacher. He was the teacher for both my math and chemistry when I was in 4th and 5th form. I wouldn't call him the cool teacher, but he was more or less the strict teacher. Strict but fair type of teacher. And I always thought, like, I remember disagreeing with him a couple of times in like class or whatnot, because I always thought he was like too strict. But like looking back on it, I understood why he was, because he was the chemistry teacher, and he was in charge of a lot of chemicals and stuff. And he had incidents with students playing the fool around for like what was it? It was the hydrochloric acid and stuff like that.
Oh, okay.
And even like there was a time when the vial dropped and completely spilled on the ground, and he's like, everyone stop, move away, like
And leave the lab.
leave the lab, right?
Yeah.
He is, because of where he is working and things like that. He's like a very strict but like reserved type of guy, and some students aren't going to like connect with a teacher like that. But the one thing I always remember about him is that his teaching style was very clear. It was always, he goes through every step. He made sure that everybody is following along. And to be honest, if you are failing or not doing well in his class, it's not because of his teaching. It's just, you probably just need some extra help or some extra lessons or something like that. Because he always made sure that if you don't understand something, come to me. He was always there. He might have been a strict teacher or whatnot, but he was always fair. And he always made sure, if you have any problems or any assistance or something like that, come to me and I can assist you. So and so and so and so and so and so. So I always remember him when I think of like a strict disciplinarian, but not like a overly mean one. He was always like, he's a strict teacher. He keeps in his lane. He made sure you stay in your lane too. But he was fair.
I see.
You know?
You had a better experience with the chemistry teacher than I did.
Oh, I know this.
I know you know this story. I feel like everybody does, because a lot of students feel the impacts of this gentleman. Anyhow, so my first chemistry teacher was a horror, a nightmare. And not in that he was like a scary person, or, well, I can say maybe afterwards he was scary. But not in that way. Let me explain. So he would give us the work, but he would give us the answers.
Oh, okay.
He would tell us instead of showing us how we get whatever is whatever.
I gotcha.
Yeah. And a lot of the times he would leave the class and not even be present. He would just leave the work. And we would just be in the classroom doing our work. Well, were we doing our work? I mean, I don't even know. Anyhow, it was such a bad experience with him. Just not, he was using, you know how you said your teacher before was like lazy? He was lazy, but he was don't care as well. And when I got back my grades, like we were coming up towards the end of the term. So this was like the pre-test. And I thought my grades were too good.
Wow.
You want to know the reason that I come to that conclusion is that when we took the test, we were kind of given the answers. I think that pre-test was like an open book thing. I don't believe we should have done a pre-test like that. And because we used, our own material and found out the answers ourselves. It's like, is this really a test?
Yeah.
I still got some things wrong, but what I did not like is that I got high grades, but I don't feel like I understood anything that I was doing.
Yeah.
He was hardly teaching us. He would not even be there. You know how they have like absent parents? He was an absent teacher. And there were complaints about his teaching style. Because it wasn't exactly what we're going to say, it was not existent. But I said I cannot continue in this class, and he kind of turned me off of chemistry. I was like, if this is what chemistry is, I don't want to do it. So I came out of doing chemistry and I went into another class where I would just do biology alone. And after a while, I think it was after a year or 2 years, the kids who stayed on under him doing chemistry, I heard from them that a lot of them failed their CXC. And he was like called up and reprimanded. I don't know what the end result was, like him losing his job or whatnot, but It wasn't good because these are kids who were ready to go to college and none of them are passing.
Yeah, and they're all from your class.
Exactly. Problem. I'm glad I got out of there, honestly. Yeah. And then I went on, I don't know how long it was after that I got a new chemistry teacher because I went back to doing chemistry because apparently I had to get more science credits or something. So I was just put in a chemistry class without my, say. I couldn't say, no, I don't want it. Anyhow, so I had to take chemistry again. And the teacher, I'm sure she was great. I mean, I was there, but I couldn't understand anything.
Well, yeah.
I tried so hard with chemistry. Honestly, I think that my, I don't know. I guess I had, because of the bad experience that I had, that I was just not about it. I never wanted to see chemistry again. So my mindset probably is what made me fail her class as well. It was a passing C, I think, but that's still a fail, in the bigger picture. But she wasn't a bad teacher. She was a great teacher, and I failed her. So sorry, but I'm also not sorry. If I could take chemistry again, maybe it wouldn't be so bad. But I'm not trying to take chemistry again for anything. Yeah. I think over the years, I had more good teachers than bad teachers.
Same.
I really loved all of my language teachers. Every person who taught me, whether it was Spanish or French or whatever, I loved all of them. Probably, again, the whole bias, because I guess inside of my mind I realized at that time that I really liked languages.
Yes,
I didn't realize it, but I obviously liked it.
Yeah.
I have great respect for all of them, even the substitutes ones that came in. It was I loved all of them.
I think I also have biases too for like my English teachers because
I love my English teachers.
They always did with a lot of creative writing and just like language and just like knowing how to use English properly. And because later on I found myself writing and doing a lot of writing and having stories and stuff like that, it's like, so now I'm looking back and being like, yeah, those teachers were pretty damn cool and great and stuff like that. Maybe that is my bias as well, because as time goes on, I'm like, oh, I'm doing a lot of writing and I'm remembering stuff that Miss So-and-so say and whatnot and stuff like that. And just being like, yeah, I always liked English, but now it's like I have a greater appreciation for the teachers who taught me.
Yeah, I have a teacher, an English teacher. She was my homeroom teacher as well. She was so down to earth and she would talk with the kids, but she was like no nonsense, in class. She was really cool. She was like, if I have to say a teacher that I thought was cool, it would be her. Just very cool. She would talk with us about like anything, but then when the class starts, it's like
none of that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I can't say that I passed her class. I didn't fail, but I didn't do the greatest. I feel like I'm only talking about all the things I didn't do well on. What is happening here?
There was this geography teacher that I really liked, but it always seems, right, that he always got rowdy students in all of his classes. It was like he was predisposed to any class that he taught would just have a huge amount of just annoying students in it.
Okay.
Like seriously. But the thing is, most of the students in this class pass. Even the rowdy ones, right?
Okay.
So it's kind of like, even though they're making noise and stuff, people were still learning in his class.
That's good.
And I think, because whenever I saw him, he would like in my class. It had because normally sometimes with like certain classes, what they would do, they would blend classes,
right.
So you would have different students from all over the place, And it seems that all of the classes that he had seemed to have a higher amount of students who were considered rowdy or rude or noisy or whatnot, but they always pass his class.
That's great.
So it's like, oh, this is something that the school got like set up, so they got know that he know how to get across the material to students who seem to have like a attitude or whatnot. And to me, he didn't really do anything. Like, he was okay and whatnot, and he was pretty cool with like bringing across the information. And but still, it just felt really like a weird thing when the really annoying kid next to me that annoyed me for years is doing super freaking great in this one class, you know, all because of this one teacher. And to me, I don't know, maybe he has magic or something, I don't know. It was just always a weird anomaly. And he was, I wouldn't consider him the most amazing teacher, but I guess he just knew how to handle certain kids very well, and he pretty much like get them to understand and learn. So
speaking about that, I think that's one of the every teacher doesn't need it, but that's one of the things that can make a good teacher. Being able to handle the kids. That's a huge thing, really.
yes, it is.
I wonder, what do you think are the traits of a good teacher? The qualities.
I don't know. I think most teachers need to have a backbone of a sort.
It's true.
A certain amount of backbone. Something that even kids can pick up on, that this teacher isn't somebody to frig with.
Yeah.
You know? You don't have to be the most cool teacher or the cool teacher all the kids like or something. You don't have to be most likable person, but just having a certain enthusiasm to teach the material. Sometimes that just being like that can somehow cut into even the most like noisy, annoying kids, because even when they see that you genuinely care about something, it kind of stops them from trying. It kind of gets at them. Some of them. I'm not saying it's gonna work for all kids. I barely did a few tutorings of some kids a few times, and I nearly wanted to pull out my hair. So, but just having the enthusiasm or just the willpower, because enthusiasm isn't going to carry you for however long you plan to do teaching, but just having the backbone and will to teach, and being able to put your foot down and be like, right now is time to learn whatever, and you're going to do that in my class today. Right? And being open and still being able to be like, if you need a little bit of assistance, come and see me, so. I think that's what I really respected and really liked about a lot of my teachers, is that, like, this person is not a pushover. This person is a human friggin' being who's come here to do a job, and I'm going to do my best to try to learn from them, you know? Maybe it's that, but that's just me. But at the same time, that presence could off tilt the rowdiest or rudest type of person, and in the same way also force them to like understand and like respect the authority within the room. Because I think that's probably one of the hardest things or most annoying things that a lot of teachers have to go through. Wow. Is just like sometimes getting certain kids to listen, or just finding a way for them to get across the material so that kids will learn, you know? But yeah, just having that, I guess, the backbone and the will to like get across information.
Because like I said, if you go into the class and the kids, the students see that you are timid, that you're a pushover, that you let things slide often, then they're not respecting you. If the class is all rowdy, jumpy, and nothing, no work is getting done. There needs to be some kind of discipline, and the teacher is the one who gotta bring it.
They could also, I know there's a trick that I remember this one teacher used to do. So selling snacks and drinks on school premises was considered like students aren't supposed to do that, right? But what he used to do is allow it in his class. He turns a blind eye to it, and if that one kid or those few kids want to sell snacks to everybody, do it a little bit before the lesson or whatnot, or around the class and whatnot. Hell, he would even like buy a drink or whatever, and he'd be like, let it be quick, and let's start class. And just that one little nugget in the class got everybody on his side. Because they know that Mr. Johnson or whatever, he's let people come and get a little something, but he's also serious about the lesson. It's just how to manipulate your students into behaving and trying to learn the lesson. You know?
I truly agree with the teacher having some kind of toughness about them. There was a teacher, I don't want to say that she didn't have any toughness, but maybe she was having a time and going through. But in my class, this was before a lot of things. This is like when I first went to high school. Just one afternoon, I mean, I don't want to say I guess the kids weren't shutting up. It's true. We weren't shutting up. And her nickname was a bad one. I'm not going to say it here. It wasn't derogatory, but a lot of nicknames that kids have for teachers are sometimes...
Kids can be cruel.
Yeah, exactly. She just left the class.
Yeah.
In the middle of it because the kids wouldn't shut up. I am not one of the kids that wouldn't shut up, but there always they have groups, cliques that even though you tell them to be quiet, they just keep going.
Shut the hell up.
And she couldn't take it anymore, and she paused for a moment as she looked at them and they were still talking, and then she left the class and we never saw her again. She left our school and went to teach at another school. Actually, Jeez. It was that bad. I think there are a lot of teachers out there that are under great pressure, and even though they try with the kids, sometimes, like you just said, kids can be cruel.
Yep.
Even adult students can be cruel.
Yes.
When you go into whatever the classroom is, you should always try to show some respect. I know they say that respect is earned, but I think that if you're trying to learn something from someone, why don't you just try to respect them from the beginning?
Yeah.
You understand? There's something that they have that's their knowledge, and you need that from them to succeed. So how about being respectful from the get-go? Right?
I think, because I've seen it a lot too. Like, some kids just don't care.
Yeah.
And that's going to be with anybody. It's just that because teachers have to deal with a high, like, if you're teaching for a certain amount of years, you're going to have had to deal with many students, and you're probably going to see every single type, and their guardians, and you're going to see every single type of student come before you at some certain point. So over time, you learn how to deal with certain students. And I guess that teacher, your teacher, she just was like, I can't do this today.
She was actually quite seasoned.
Yeah.
She's a veteran teacher.
Right. And today was the day where she was like, you know what? I've had enough of this right now. I'm going to walk the hell out of here. Because teachers are still people. At the end of the day, they're still people taking care of tons of smaller, more annoying, younger people.
Exactly. There's something that I think that a lot of us overlook as well. Teachers practically raise kids.
Yes.
It's a joint effort with the guardians and the teachers. But how often are we in the classroom?
Like 8 hours a day when you're
we
high
are
school.
In the class throughout our lives more than we're at home at a certain point.
Yes.
So I think we should really, all of us should really try to show some respect. And if you are a guardian, if you're a parent or whatever, don't think that the teacher doesn't have the kids' best interest. Although there's those teachers at times.
Like we talked about the bad teachers that we've had too.
Exactly. Right? That don't give a lick. As for bad teachers, I think that if they don't really care about their students, you can see when teachers are just so,
Don't care-ish.
yeah, they're like say they're hands off to the whole situation, even though a teacher should be hands on.
It depends on the situation, but yeah.
No, I mean in teaching.
Yeah,
Teaching
yeah,
is
yeah,
a
yeah.
hands on job.
Mm-hmm.
They're
This is
like
a
seem
job.
completely uninvolved. And I remember a teacher saying to us, well, if you guys fail, that's fine, I'm gonna get paid anyway.
The classic. That's very classic.
And I
Yeah.
wondered if she was saying that so that we would be motivated, but there's no way that that would motivate students or, make us even want to behave properly.
It's
It's
a
like,
very college teacher-esque type of
yeah,
attitude, because I know in college some teachers are just like,
you don't care.
I am here on tenure and I'm going to get paid a certain amount. It's up to you to come to my classes,
It is.
to look at that board, to make sure you understand. And for the few minutes that I am here, I'm going to start the class because, well, to be fair, at a college level, it is expected that you're paying to go to school.
Right.
You're going to come to fucking school and you're going to come to the class. The teacher is already getting paid and he's going to come, and unless they can't come, they're going to come, they're going to put a lesson, some of them try to teach you as good as they can, and then go on to whatever research and whatnot that they want to do. But then at the high school level though, some teachers kind of also feel that same way as well.
But it feels so terrible to hear it.
Yes.
As a student.
But
I
yeah.
just knew that teacher didn't love us at all. She didn't even like us.
She was
as
done
people.
long before you probably came along.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess you could also have certain teachers who are just like, they're the lazy, but the ones who are just like, yeah, I can pretend to type but kind of teach, but I just doing this so that I get paid, but I'll appear to be like if I'm teaching,
Mm-hmm.
like they're going through the motions, like here's something so blah blah blah. They teach, but it is not teaching, I guess is what I'm trying to say. It is very like, here's what you need to do today. Here's what I'm going to show you guys. Blah, 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 blah. Here's what's going to be on the test. Blah, blah, blah. It's very like, I guess it counts as teaching, but it's just they don't interact beyond like just giving you the information at the end of the day,
Mm-hmm.
which is pretty much teaching at the end of the day, It's just giving you the information, and yeah, you can go on a test next week. See you guys later. My time is here. It's over. I had a teacher who was the first person out of the class before the students whenever the bell rang.
Oh.
And it was the most hilarious thing. It's like, oh, the bell? I'm out. See you guys later. Next week. And
I
just
feel like I had a teacher like that too.
Like,
it's like they would time the classes so that they have 5 minutes left.
yeah, and then
And they would leave first. I know, seriously. I remember this guy. I think he was one of my French teachers. He would time it so that when there's 5 minutes left, he would put his books together, sit down, and I guess we might be still doing work or nothing. He would let us do anything with 5 minutes left, and then he would check his watch. He would always check his watch. I remember this. This is coming back to me, and then. A minute or a few seconds before the bell rang, he would stand up and hold his books by his side,
yeah.
and he'd be like creeping to the door, and then he'd be gone.
It's like, I don't want to spend no more amount of time around these children.
But he was a great teacher.
Yeah.
He wasn't bad, and he didn't neglect us
He
or
was
anything
efficient,
like that.
Kimberly.
He was.
He was
but
efficient.
do you know what? That really makes me laugh because I remember
The watch
him. He would always look at his watch at that time.
I can respect that. I can really respect that. Having the lesson, doing the lesson, having enough time for myself to get ready for the next class that I might have, prepare, getting ready, and then out the door. That is, yeah, hell yeah. Straight up. That's commendable. It's like, I know why you need to teach the class. and I'm out the door when I'm done.
But have you ever had any really,
like bad teachers?
I mean, let's just say experiences?
Well, I guess I don't know if this kind of falls into a bad teacher because of the behavior of the gentleman. I mentioned earlier that one of the younger teachers that came, he joined the school because he had a great teacher that taught him and inspired him to be himself become a teacher, right? This same teacher was then found to have been sleeping with students from another school.
The veteran teacher.
Yes, the veteran teacher. And it was also found that this behavior had been going on for years.
How many years? I mean, I guess it doesn't matter, but...
I knew he was, I think, like, probably for, like, 5 or so years. So, like, my entire time I was at that school, this was apparently going on. Because he was... Apparently, he was a handsome teacher, I guess, because I always saw him and the girls, new girls that liked him and stuff like that. He was considered a great teacher because, like I said, he taught, and that other teacher came to school and he inspired me to want to become a teacher.
So he would sleep with the girls,
yes,
to give them better grades, or just...
he was just, I guess, a predator, and because he was always around like young girls and stuff like that, and some of them liked him, and probably
he took advantage
of that. And because he used to do lessons at another school, there were no girls at our school that were apparently were like people that he slept with, because I guess he's smart enough to not shit where he eat, that type of thing, you know.
Wow.
I remember it clearly because the information came out that he got in trouble, and it was like around the midday, and like all like teachers like kind of like stopped teaching lessons because it was like after the lunchtime, and it was like get run off the last lessons. A lot of teachers were called into the staff room, and they found out the information then. I remember seeing the young teacher being at the upstairs staff room, just like pacing back and forth in their hallway, because their door was open and there's a little bit ways you could walk in and look in. And he was just saying, I can't believe that the man that I respected, that inspired me to become a teacher, will go and do something so disgusting. I remember him saying it, being really loud, and he had this look on his face that he was just like, my hero, like, has completely done something that is so fucking wrong, you know?
Detestable.
And yeah, I don't know what happened to him, because I mean that's a crime, to sleeping with like minors and stuff like that. But I know that he no longer taught at the school, and I think that was the biggest scandal. I think it was the biggest like scandal that happened ever at the school that I went to. It's just so wrong, you know. Like, you're an adult, you're a teacher, you're supposed to be, you're somebody who some students looked up to, or like there's a certain amount of confidence that you won't take advantage of them because you're in so close priority to young adults. Yes, there may be a girl or what, someone might be flirtatious with you or whatnot because she likes you, she has a crush on you, but you need to know as an adult, as a teacher, when to not go beyond the freaking line. I don't understand that, because he was really considered like a really good veteran, upstanding teacher, and then it comes out that
you don't need to understand it.
It's not right, man.
You know, everybody doesn't show their true face. You know, you only knew him in one area of his life.
Yeah.
And so did that teacher who admired him, only knew him as a teacher like that. You know? But most of the teachers are out there really trying hard.
Yeah.
They're the ones who sometimes have to teach the kids manners. You know, they have to discipline the kids as well. They have to give the kids information and show them how the world is truly out there.
Give them just the basics so that they can somehow make sense of it.
Exactly. Survive. That's why teachers should be paid more.
Yeah. Goodness. I mean, teaching is one of those things that I've always been interested in, and like the few teachers that were like you could do this, Chris, you know, you would be a good teacher, and kind of got me inspired to want to do it. Maybe one of these days, maybe. I still think it's one of the professions that I hold in like high esteem.
Me too.
Because of the people who taught me. I wouldn't be here now without the people who taught me, you know?
I mean, think about this. Teachers make the world, you know.
In a way, yes.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
You have to learn your knowledge from somewhere.
Yes.
Teachers do that.
Pretty much. And it is such a shame, for real, how people kind of like let down on the teaching profession. It's, I don't know, man. It's so weird. Everybody knows that that teachers are like 100% underpaid, and that most schooling, no matter where, seems to always be underfunded, no matter what, for whatever reason. So like, if you're out there and you're a teacher still in this world, 100% like hand clap to you for at least doing something that is necessary in this world that is
Exactly.
a lot of people don't show enough respect to, you know. But yeah, teaching is hard. Like, ugh.
And if you're a student out there, you better get your act together and respect your teachers.
And if you got bad teachers, then
If you have a bad teacher, confront them. No, you don't want to confront
let it be
them.
known to somebody if the teacher is really
some
bad
higher
teacher.
authority, like, I don't know, the principal or the dean or something.
If other students are having same sorts of issue with the teacher, let somebody know. But if you are just having a bad attitude with the teacher and it's not like a teaching issue and it's just you and the teacher can get along, that's a completely different thing altogether.
It is. We just wanted to really say that we appreciate the teachers who have taught us.
The good ones.
And, well, even the ones that we consider bad, I'm sure that they tried. And the ones that are to come in the future, because even those who are considered teachers in schooling system and whatnot are not the only teachers that we have in life. You know, our parents, for example, our guardians, even your friends could be people who teach you things that you didn't know. We should appreciate those people in our lives.
Yes, I agree. Also pay teachers more.
Oh, last thing. World Teachers Day is October the 5th.
Oh, okay.
So several months before this episode comes out. But I did let you know, internet. So maybe you want to put it down in your calendar or something.
Give your teacher a cookie or something on that.
No.
Day.
I don't think that teachers should receive food from kids, but something else.
Why not?
You know, some kids want to poison their teachers and stuff.
Really?
You can't really give food these days like that.
That's just cruel. Because I know the whole giving an apple to your teacher thing is like a classic type of thing, you know? The apple on the teacher's desk.
Don't do that.
What?
Don't do that.
I've given my teachers food before.
If you do want to give your teacher something,
give them something that's in a package, I guess? Like that you can't taint or poison, I guess?
That's what I want to say. But also, there are some teachers who won't receive things that are too expensive.
Oh, okay.
Or they just won't receive things like police officers. They'll be like, no, I can't. This is considered a bribe. Kind of thing.
Really?
You know, it's like, please don't give me cookies. I can't give you an A+.
I didn't mean it as a bribe. I just meant it as like a good, you know, like sign of like, hey, Mr. So-and-so, Mrs. Whatnot. I like you teaching me. Here's something.
Well, here's what you could do. If you wanted to give something, why don't you give something to, like, the staff?
Like what?
It doesn't matter what it is. Whatever it
card?
is, you can give it to the staff, and in a card, you can specify that teacher that you were talking about.
I don't want to give anything to the whole staff. I just want to give Miss Jacobs.
Then just give her a card.
Yeah.
What's wrong with you? Okay, that's it for now, internet. We're going to go.
Hope you guys enjoyed, and see you guys in the next one.
Good night, everyone.